baba ye edwuma bi wo ha. Now, efa ye dru so no. The military deployments on the day of elections. Eba saying, and a military deployments we in and around nationwide, regional capitals, districts, communities. Military men were all over. The frontline investigations is learning on the intelligence regarding the military deployment across all regional capitals and districts during the day of voting. Enhwehwemu ya ye efa kwanya asojafo ni bebre epiepie ya ebinimu ati etua na omo ye de omo pe na enye Ghana Armed Forces officially anase the stardom anase the military high command and the release omo so omo nko omo anwo pe but omo pe so a na obi show mechi nti hwan na show mechi a ema sa asojafo no koye sa adewe mesrem Ghana for biwaso anadwi na tie sa report ye I very sensitive because nipa be brain tis hard na say there's a fast perception making fast news about that deployment, and we have gotten all the facts and we need to tell you why. Nevertheless, stakeholders in election 2024 have begun querying why there was military deployment on the day of elections, although the military high command earlier had issued a press release informing Ghanaians to report to the military high command. Any military personnel seen at any polling station must be reported. Afi wo hwe wono mu a wo mu di akotene ankasa ewo elections mu stakeholders no civil society groups political parties nimni ade bebre na start mu bi sese wono mu ntia sese asojafo yi mu ankasa na mo de krata eba bonten se mo ma asojafo emma closer to polling station ni ade beba ne sei ena afi ye hu se asojafo ne bebre atesi krom etuo ni ade kutekuta o ma chese na some of them were armed to their teeth udi agora so trouble akufo wasumu a said any say be beba also no who be that. So a month for started be and say what went wrong? No, wait a minute, be wrong. Something rather went wrong somehow. And you can't blame the military high command for it. No. Stakeholders, political parties, civil society groups, any political activists, you cannot blame the military high command say no, there's a sharp contrast, and until you probe to know what went wrong, you cannot blame the military high command. The military high command did the right thing, led by Chief of Defense Staff General Oppong Peprah Momfa Nemra. He did the right thing. Momfa General Entoso Emame fast. Yes, he did the right thing. He's a man of honor, he's a man of integrity, he's a man of credibility, and believed in the integrity of the Ghana Armed Forces, which has been used ostensibly to be doing all kinds of dirty stuff. And when we say no, enough is enough. So on the 1st of what? December 1st, and we issue paper away. But then we go through. Into stakeholders now, brace yourself. Muntimi in fact General Oppong Peprah Emma na MCR. Well, at the end of the day, no, bebre na maya confused. He said, "A soldier for you do begu krom Montia say yes, I can understand that, but do not blame the Chief of Defense Staff. Why left the post no grass sound? Is it Lieutenant General Oppong Peprah? Am I right, folks?" Yes. yes. Ni post assistant. Papa wodini hu nipa o. Mo be kayen so a onoda ho no. Yes. Lieutenant General Oppong Peprah who said no, the stakes are high already. And I feel so we should the template. And on that screen is no. Or issues our paper way. Egg the kebe tension biara ebeba edio how bebanti no issue here. Now going forward then is here. Ono asoso etro wa krata no mu se so jeni bia yebehunu no polling station no ye report no Emma the Ghana Armed Forces HQ. Indeed, our intelligence report, however, has uncovered fingers pointing toward the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Oppong Peprah, is in the known of the above activities and the reckless raid by some military personnel during the period of voting. The aniperi bi susu na womo dwene se eye ora Oppong Peprah na onim na oyawe se na sojafoɔ bi nso ebeba bonten ebeye etutra sembi de me pese me catch say enye ne kre. No, that's a lie. Any person, anybody, and I challenge anybody, obi obabeka say General Oppong Peprah was aware of any military deployment say wonum ko die etutra sem ewo police station and now wonum ko enko bo a member of parliament bi ho ban and now wonum ko enko wi ballot papers and now wonum ko enko ye dan no. Please, that I will tell you is a lie. No. General Oppong Peprah did not instruct any military personnel, say, including, say, Oppong Peprah did not instruct any military group of whatever, say, Ghana Armed Forces aircraft, and load ballot boxes, and tamale. No. Please. Adia nipa ne no. Mama fan she nipa mumma nipa dibi enna abra won mu nye boni bi mfentia oman no, rather yen hwe ne say eh there be ene ne say nipa why now we say sabi ebinom nye concern about the stability and integrity and the security of the state. But I'm sure say Ghana for bebre mote say yes say a soldier for bi ebinom ye den snipers. Ebinim ya debeya snipers o ye deploy omo edomu ko Togo mante si ye deploy a soldier phobi ye domu ko somewhere boko Ghana for mante say a soldier phobi at the ballot boxes egu military aircraft mu at their fly ekodu tamale mante. But in all of this, some deployment any some movements way any some snipers we now were done at the blind side of the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Oppong Peprah, and he knew nothing about it. Just as Mebeka Chiramo, before elections, Mebeka made the report to be just say a group of Asoja-phobi were trying to stage what you call state of emergency. He's a fine soldier. Ghana stability nara, Ghana I stabilizing nara. If we pay, so we need me catch me say ni pass out no. One so mo boy say state of emergency be air bow. One more yes I we no. And omo de asem ne kokoto o man pani anim say asem we beni na papa yi na hyekyire. Enu nti me de asemi beto ho say Chief of Staff Mami Fremo Pare onfa sembi mu ne kra femra be si ne Mami Fremo Pare amfa sa asem na mada say ne kra se Mami Fremo Pare wo tro krata de ma Chief of Defense Staff General said, "On your day, did you do that?" One fan who year matter. They are told me and say, "I feel man penny nankasa." Actually, the see penny near mantemantu. Did they know? Yeah, of Fred, Chief of Defense Staff. No. Yeah, because on my we are president. Do not joke with your Chief of Defense Staff. The whole nation with Chief of Defense Staff. So, and I got for him. There's a history. There's an antecedent. There's a precedent. Yeah. Lieutenant General Kutu Echampon amemwo ebetunu yebetunu egwina. Kutu Echampon amemwo no. The government was overthrown by the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Frederick William Kwesi Ekufu. And we took otu nifi ade so. Nebra Ekufu etu Echampon no. That was the time one. Na Kutu Echampon aye nadrin said no. Kutu Echampon obviously didn't believe in a multi-party system, no. But then again and again, he was trying to espouse to, some of the governance system within the neighboring countries. Nibi said, "Obe shishena buying such that obe here obia ewa buying some military people, civilians, police, and civil servants for no do my exam. Well, yes, I really know, and no debe for me union governments. And mobe kaya Unigov. We see Unigov new year pet." And the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General F.W. Ekufu, organize here and influence the Unigov government or influence bilimwa and onya access. And only we take anum or that Wellington and the rest. One more paper. One time, Kutu Echampon akwa play golf. No, or ball tennis. Or ball tennis ni we no and we pray and a doctor catches so uncle fear non arrested. Or coffee no arrested. You know what happened? Then he had a call at the army headquarters so Omra. At that time, no, there was a report about some corruption. They told Kutu Echampon said that report is ready to Omra and an emergency. Obedru wa pe ena the Chief of Defense Staff no mo. Ekufunum. Womo accoste. The bodyguards of Kutu Echampon, his bodyguards were accosted and arrested. Then when he went to his office, all the men, Kutu Echampon's men, started trooping into his office. And none of the men saluted him until they all numbered up. And when they numbered up, then here comes Lieutenant General Ekufu, who entered the office without any recourse to respect. And then they told Kutu Echampon, said, listen, they just pulled a note, or that Wellington pulled a note from his pocket and gave it to Kutu Echampon. Say on here. And when Kutu Echampon read the message, primarily he was being asked to abdicate his post. And this became a tug of war in the room for a while. And when Kutu Echampon realized, hey, his men in the room outnumbered him and there isn't anything that he can do, Kutu Echampon has to surrender. So beneath the note was for Kutu Echampon to sign. And he signed, and that was the end. Finish. The government of Kutu Echampon, right from the National Redemption Council, metamorphosed into union government, came to an abrupt end, led by the Chief of Defense Staff. Enodate Wellington, the rest, went to GBC and announced the government of Kutu Echampon has been overthrown. And right there, they arrested him, sent him to Volta region, and subsequently transferred him to his hometown in Huidim in Ashanti region under house arrest. And when Ekufu took over the reins of government within a matter of Ekufu, within a matter of about 5 months, then another young soldiers led by Captain Boachejan and Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlins, also marshaled a certain military preponderance, went through the military garrisons, gathered troops, all right? Gathered troops, and also what? Came in, staged a coup, and they overthrew. Because Ono Ekufu overthrew Echampon, and Oba for me what you call the SMC2, the Supreme Military Council 2. No, if he said, no. Oh, Rollins and Crawford so buy up and I'm say, hey, wait a minute, hey, bro, what do you mean, man? Because the AFRC phone who said, listen, this dependency syndrome and this military coup say they need to clear it off and then it will never see the light of day. Oh, and a Rollins in the friends and Boachi Janamusu, almost buy, bam, then they overthrew a kufu. And Rollins decided to stay in power. Samoba Kaya. It was around that time, Rollins had transfer, Ghana forces Rollins, hand over. And Rollins looked at Ghanaians and told Ghanaians, hand over to who? Mokai, yes. Me, I was a little boy, but I remember everything. And he said, Rollins, me they call. On my another transition, and he said they call Tuaba in 1979. So, 1979, on a Liman, Ebe Winier. Liman also won convincingly 71 out of 140 parliamentary seats, presidential, won. Onko tna Mr. Jubilee, onko tna castle ho, normal Ghana enko ya, onko tna castle ho. No, so ye nyoma. He was playing around and having merriment. Says, oh. Until when the AFRC returned to barracks, they were watching the Liman government closely until Rollins realized, no, Liman was not ready to govern this country. Then before we realized, the skies were rocketing with miseries. The Liman government, boom, has been overthrown. Near Jia feel Liman inside. And he said, Rollins said, bet now for almost close to same 2 years. 2 years in more than they see. Then the Rollins government gradually was hitting the iceberg, not the tip of it, where we got to a point that the Rollins government needed a life oxygen to survive. Okay? Rollins, if you know so fast, the IMF of today were just hanging around the neck of Rollins. And they told that young Rollins, listen, before you can rescue, 1983, Ghana, the economy of Ghana took a nosedive. We needed a life oxygen to survive. And the IMF of today were there, told Rollins, listen, you need to embark upon what you call economic recovery. And the essence of this will be to lay a foundation of a productive, sustainable, efficient economy, clarifying the prospect of the wealth creation in the nation under the word stabilization from 87 to 89, saw structural adjustment and development. They gave Rollins all sorts of conditions. PAMSCAD, UNDP, Global 2000, Kwasi Asamoah. Ohana Rollins, the coffee far. Why? The PV Obeng, the Nathaniel Kwao, Justice D.F. Annan, the Hoyes, and the rest. So, and your chief of defense staff, yeah, and I am to say tonight, Lieutenant General Oppong Peprah is a distinguished military officer Bakwa, the governing New Patriotic Party. You must not try to soil the name of that military general. No. Say yes, sir. Ghana for Minka Semichemo. Now no maybe Trahakachemo Assembly Sep. In the months of June, July, see it to me cross July or May. I saw a dark cloud covering the airspace between some months, so Nyami and Ghana for fear the BCBC. Bani Neremunu, one of the finest military generals now, no more bomb my who buy no, or not that honor. The stability of this country was in his hands. All right? And to one say, "Wamukoko stage, wamu fake state of emergency. No more pay the 2 nefri ho. No more nyakwaya your madia." Tonight, me be bien some swatchremo. Moreover, the above impression by some of the stakeholders can be answered again within a question. All right? Or with a question. Stakeholders be entias or move say a soldier for a bit dear to trust them no. A your Oppong Peprah sign on. No. Something went on terribly. And may I say even it got to a point I won't all the way to Memphis say Friday and Sana Saturday ni besuma ye na yakoto ya banu. IGP pa omeka se kwekubwa. there were so many commanding structures and I said, hey, we my instructional no way so counter. We my instructional no way counter. Ghana for assembly see Ghana no. Enipa no mukata asume o memu dru yo. Oh yes. IGP my instructional no be so counter instructions no. Oh yes. And there was a meeting now. Womu call ya IGP anka se nim se o man penini ka se bi kire no a. O hwe o man penini ka kire so no onye. At least for once, my more IGP no so abaso say wasum Ghana bebre. Oh yes. IGP, Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu Dampare, even though he's sitting on a tenterhooks and sitting on fire. But elections, why you need Juma? Papa. IGP na you need Juma. Ghana for Ottawa Quadra. Mr. in America, for na basobo, femano. IGP has done well. Because, and yes, an MPP for an no. But you're not just say no, they are done a young fan to one fan to a be free at all. Or therefore, the young fan chiche. Aye, or therefore, the young fan chicho. And you, Mahama, dear, what did you say? Ye, IGP Dinhuni, the Totoha, there was a grand meeting. All of the commanding officers were there, and some of them ensured said no. It's not about MPP as a party, it's about Ghana first. And we need to distinguish the integrity, the sanctity, the credibility, and the sovereignty of this republic within the power in the sovereign of the Ghana flag. No way they defy the president's orders. Now, mubi na monti bibiase no. Afi me be kire mo ade me de question bi be ye asembia no amamo. Anything bisa ho sa asemwe. One, how could the military high command issue such a release and yet cause a deployment of military personnel on the ground to cause mayhem and abuse the fundamental rights of Ghanaians? 1st December, the military high command led by Oppong Peprah no me de krata aba abonten da. Say ye soldier phobia so meko polling station nam ne ade muhu ma mon reporting en chom. So ebeba ne saying no akure no ma say deploy enipa say omumra emeye Ghana for to traffic. How? Number 2, would listeners and viewers recall earlier, before elections, we called on one army officer, Ghana for Muntie Hani Ye. Before elections, I called on one army officer, Midinidiba, one army officer by name Major General Pesma Kwesi Owana. Ono da hono. Mokai. Hwe enoma me ne mo ye nya ne kwakunye se me sori ana me be ye o ma ye we na to hodi da o. And may I say there was a very good reason why I did those report earlier than today. When we say ne akwa is playing up again. So Kaya, those of you who are very sharp could remember this is not the first time I'm putting the image of Major General Besma Kwesi Owana image out here. No. Me here Oppong Peprah, me patrol, take Oppong Peprah and bring Owana, please. Semahu. He is one of the army officers, and he said, oh no, or a chief of army staff. Papa or that way. When Nana Kanu no Jina President Ekufu Nechi Samoba Kaya. Yeah. Major General Besma Kwesi Owana on no Jina President Akufo-Addo Nechi. Tumeka se me bebisa na sembi. Na muntie. Me bebisa na asem na me bebisa no. Me bebisa ne se he should come out and confirm or deny if he is not involved or he's not involving himself in any conspiracy ploy, recruiting some military personnel into some corridors of the Ghana Armed Forces for some special exercise on election day. Ghana for Mobekai. Mi baby sasa mi bisa papai. Papai, he is the chief. He's the chief of army staff, Major General Besma Kwesi Owana. Mi baby sana sa asemi say, o Ometre assembly mu ne kura se anso susuan pa se eye ne kura nya ne kura no ometre mu se o recruit enipa bi ewo armed forces ni mu a odo mu kwa kodi dwuma bi ewo election day Ghana for muntie me kan na bi si kwaku anan wabodam ene mu se ekoye ne afie ne modi sa ade ne ekohye obi o obi su tene ba bi o wokotra kwa kodi ne mekomo atwere eba benye hu fifiri wonyi ni pato na oda ho no oye penny oye chief of army staff major general. All right, it was me baby son say yes no respectfully chief owner brana be kire say o recruit nipa bi do mawura armed forces ni mu first saying some corridors within the armed forces. Who said armed forces there were many departments. What do nipa bi kwaku rewura ho edo mo tu anamo bi ana besin nese menemu ka say Ghana for yantene nkada when you say asem na no. Again, on that day of our broadcast or publication, we question against the backdrop whether or not, if there isn't any confusion between the chief of army staff, if there isn't any confusion between the chief of army staff, Major General Bismarck Kwesi Owona, and chief of defense staff, Lieutenant General Oppong Peprah, who is ostensibly against any counter instructions in the army toward any nefarious activities, not in the interest of the army, but against the interest of the state. Folks, Mokai, me san baby sa no say, o meka sembi musu ni kra say, also entawantawa bi ewo ono papa we, eye we o chief of army staff yo da we. Major General Bismarck Kwesi Owona ometrem say confusion bi eni nintem one the chief of defense staff Lieutenant General Oppong Peprah confusion bi ni omuntem ana ometre sa asem no meyenti eno so wa ma bisi na me ne mo ka sei wa ma nana sa confusion no me san kire mu say sa confusion e be free say o tu anamo bi asa anamo no it is not serving in the interest of the Ghana Armed Forces, rather a self-serving interest, and therefore the chief of defense staff any news I don't know and into a confusion about on any intem or mechanical wa ma bontene into moon said elections in a choir. Yes, it is a military deployment tibia massa a free. Now, this was the question we threw to the chief of army staff, Major General Bismarck. Until present, no answers. No what answers have yet been provided by him. But I tell you, folks, before the elections, we knew what we knew. Hey, all the commanding officers of the state, there was a confusion all over. Penny, command the way my instruction. Oh, no, biswa counter. Oh, it's just a Ghana was almost heading towards shipwreck because. Baby, the stakes were high. Say, I feel not men in uniform were not ready to distinguish their integrity, their in credibility and integrity within the service order. No, they were ready to do anything for their political parties. Now, folks, let's read the earlier release by the Military High Command a day before the special voting. A day and a Ghana Armed Forces for Modebeto, led by the Military High Command, Lieutenant General Oppong Peprah. A day on Modebeto. Craft and then that screen is shall we? Or say, issued by the Department of Public Relations, General Headquarters, Burma Camp, Accra. Nobody telephone numbers to tour. Or say, no military personnel will be stationed at any polling station, Ghana Armed Forces. The Ghana Armed Forces wishes to inform the public of its role in ensuring the peaceful conduct of the upcoming 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. As part of our ongoing commitment to maintaining national security and peace during this critical democratic exercise, CAF wishes to reiterate that no military personnel will be stationed at any polling station. CAF's presence would be limited to standby support, with the primary responsibility for election security remaining with the Ghana Police Service GPS. The military would only be deployed upon request by the GPS, that's Ghana Police Service. This collaborative approach ensures that the elections proceed smoothly and peacefully while maintaining law and order. Sefini. Asemo moka wa he nyane se asoja kuono eye se asoja fo a womode womo kono womode womo ekwa koma Ghana police for one afi Ghana police for en womo ntu anamon 2 or 3 ebra esene fata se hunte bi aba no Ghana police for be yisu asoja fo yi e de create e de maintain peace, law and order. Asamwasa. In the spirit of transparency to prevent any misunderstandings, Tiho, we encourage the public to report any military personnel, individuals identifying themselves as CAF personnel, or any individuals wearing military pattern attire, accoutrements found at any polling station to the nearest police station. Found at any polling station to the nearest police station, or call the following GPS toll-free numbers. Numbers in the go on 18555 or 0800 311. This would ensure that appropriate action is taken against such individuals or groups in order to maintain security as well as the integrity of the election process. Ghana Armed Forces CAF wishes to encourage all Ghanaians to exercise their civic rights responsible, cooperate with security personnel, and refrain from any acts that could disrupt the peace. Ghana Armed Forces reiterates its commitment to safeguarding the stability and sovereignty of the nation whilst protecting the integrity of the election process. Signed, Why E. Agri Kwashi, Brigadier General. Yes, also Wakuri Nimpa Miniapa, Brigadier General, Director General Public, Brigadier General, Director General Public Relations. Note to editors. E. Agri Kwashi, and our signers are krate. Na krate, when a man mutual krate, a free chief of defense staff or enti nipa betro krata we no we are. Now I say another deployment say no, mudia munko police station na munko die to trust him and amunko ha Ghana for ha I mean 7 nyansa ben e wom oye penny. Enti stakeholders na munti bibiase no afimidi mu ko ewura baby. Na sa krata or the by 1st of December 2024. Second krata esan by and no by on the 6th of December dear na wom. Or say military deployment in support of elections ongoing Ghana Armed Forces. Hands up. Or say the Ghana Armed Forces CAF wishes to inform the public that the deployment of its personnel to designated locations in support of the Ghana Police Service for the peaceful conduct of the upcoming 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections is ongoing. The public is therefore urged not to be apprehensive if they see the movement of military personnel in their localities. CAF wishes to reiterate that no military personnel would be stationed at any polling station. CAF's presence would be limited to standby support, with the primary responsibility for election security remaining with the Ghana Armed Forces Service GPS. The military would only be deployed upon request by the Ghana Police Service. Tio, not just a military crana ye deploy on one mugu a fence corner hono crana, womuntimi sorry for mo pen koyade, a Brian Frey warnum. Can you imagine? There was a strict order, there was a strict directives. It is so the Nibiara who say, what the MPBH or the politician BH, no mukofa ballot papers, ballot box, and me patrol. Sab so genino, was not deployed. He was not from the mainstream Ghana Armed Forces. Now, Shem, I'll say, CAF wishes to reiterate that no military personnel would be stationed at any polling station. CAF's presence would be limited to standby support, with the primary responsibility for election security remaining with the Ghana Police Service GPS. The military would only be deployed upon request by GPS. This collaborative approach ensures that the elections proceed smoothly and peacefully while maintaining law and order. Ghana Armed Forces wishes to once again encourage all Ghanaians to exercise their civic rights responsible, cooperate with security personnel, and refrain from any act that could disrupt the peace. Ghana Armed Forces reiterates its commitment to safeguarding the stability and sovereignty of the nation while protecting the integrity of the election process. And also signed, E. Agrikwashi, Brigadier General, Director General, Public Relations. Iran, and the Ghana Armed Forces were constantly monitoring the situation. The Ghana Armed Forces, led by the Military High Command, were under strict instructions, said, this is what our men are supposed to go and do. And it is a soldier nibi go contrary. Eko ye the answers were ya. And I am here to tell Ghanaians, those are soldier for no, the Military High Command for no crown investigations to wrap all of them up. No, midi mube no. Tonight, respectfully, we are demanding to know from Chief of Army Staff. Again, we are respectfully demanding to know from the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Bismarck Kwesi Owona, what counter instructions did his outfit issued to counter the earlier release, or if you like, the position by the Military High Command. General Owona yebisa sa asem we nsu yebisa o so obetimi nya no yi e dia brenya. We are respectfully asking Major General Bismarck Kwesi Owona say ebra Ghana Armed Forces High Command e dis ansem beto to ho no yesre no o ono so counter instructions ben and on the beto form eno dan chen military personnel bang and also deploy on core grounds. And no than Chenya, military personnel bang and releasing military aircraft at the one or smasman nipebinia dia, including snipers binia dia na. General, respectfully, we are asking. Bibi sa kwaswa mayehu. Bibi sa kwaswa mayehu. Opuni ni die kwan so. Me penasem papa. Yes. Major General Bismarck or me penasem pa but we I admire him so much from afar. Yes. And you're bad, sir, obetime a deep-rooted MPP. But you see, General him very well, sir. So the Juman wahu. We are very distinguished servicemen. A Juman would you call a man same one, I'm say Juman. So, and sometimes acquires a bicycle home fast one is be free. Now, so one year, now we babe say, a Jumano de image, a Jumana Gieno, now we say no. Folks, tonight, I want us to watch, take a listen to some in Numa. You bet me, I can say, some of our military officers, top officers, could risk the life of some of our this military personnel out there. All in the name of what? Politics. So, why some of our military officers could risk the life of some of our military personnel, all in the name of what? Politics. Now, say, I don't know, BBC, I know they are not job account. The person being for nature, not sure, DC, about to some of this military personnel, baby says, why not small one? Now, no more GDA. Take a listen to this.
Let me tell you something. And see, we are going to bed. Very question. I'm being honest. Get back. You are not going anywhere. You are not going to the police station. 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 Whatever you want. Hey, move video. Move video. I'm being honest. Get back. You are not going anywhere. You are not going to the police station. 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 Whatever you want. Hey, move video.
Folks, when we do and there are such horrible events, incidents, here around the nation's capitals. Yeah. I love my military guys to the brim. Yes. The entire security forces of the nation all over the world. A soldier for you and Crawford, me for me see. Ghana Armed Forces, me were dum gumankasa, my friends and relatives. And I cherish them so much. I envy them so much. And I respect them so much. So, no. Na hwese soje ni baako ansa na ebe training na wie no na de akom e wo saa personnel ne training ni mu no se sika no ho ye betumi de ahwe fie na awotwe manipa ho atomo ye de training no na for want of politics, and power, we will forsake all this and deploy these fine men to go and work against the interest of their service, but for self-serving. So we throw them out there and risk their lives. Now what we see we keke. Fanese a 2-year na soldier ni military guy okre on se na wa yiri tuo no den. But se fofia antwata ne pim ne tetoya. Then na office ABC. Ni pegu obekum fa. Hwanem na smam ranti so mo nkwa abonten ho. And there were several military personnel who were hovering in and around polling stations. But somebody defied the authority of the military high command. Why? Me say somebody defied the commanding structure of the military high command for want of what? Self-serving. The nation Ghana first. The nation Ghana first. Folks, into report na media to amamono. Enti mi gyina so anadua ka kire mo se wo biara wodi wani ekwo kire se asojafo no wo mo hyeda na wo ye no somebody and will take it that step. But we are also asking say nipa no brabonti na beka mu no kire kire. If there is any thank you service, Ghanaians and all the stakeholders in election 2024, including the president-elect, John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, any thank you service, please give that thank you service to Lieutenant General Oppong Peprah. Oh yes, to safeguard the territorial sovereignty of this republic. Yes, why not? At least, may I say this, if the NDC National Democratic Congress, Ebampo, Namosemoni Oppong Peprah, for me, I think that Papa Nangasam is on his way on a different mission. At least we safeguarded on minor to her. And I know that knowing President John Dramani Mahama, I know he knows Oppong Peprah very well. His exemplary order lines, which cannot pass unnoticed. Oh yes. And military high command in Penifo, Mofo Buo and Mamo Homo. No may ye DNA. Mo yen extremely MPP yen extremely NDC. Said the NDC bay. Sana soldier from Penifo bisu beji jomenim eko tuete Dramahama so betete na so sa tete sa near the post na mom. Na no so sa adeng. Oh. A soldier for any people make come on a I know that there's General Miller in the US military told Donald Trump some truth. Trump and Yahoda Trump is so be inedi. No, Miller crimes are retired. Also be making sure so be prosecuted Miller. Hey, General Miller, it's a distinguished. I think Miller is with 5-star general. Yeah, he's almost in the same rank with the late Colin Powell. Late Colin Powell remained the only African-American military general or attaining 5-star general. Yeah, Colin Powell. And then I think the late Norman Schwarzkopf. You know, a soldier for no, they love their job. More politics, more fan to be, oh, and yet, see ye dear broker crabia. I think I think fancy Nyaho Tamaklu even said this some time ago. Say, hey, what would trigger this country? What would trigger a military coup in this country to topple the Akufo-Addo's government? The temperature need to move that. Why not? Yeah, I didn't hear because baby Adriano, we were more than qualified to stage a military coup to take the government away. Now, so I'm muscle. there were some fine men sitting at the back there. Abo Peck said, no, yeah, Makwama said, I didn't see that. Nenuna Maker said, President Adodankwa Akufo-Addo, and the president-elect, John Dramani Mahama, more na Sebia Mofema General Oppong Peprah. For say what ball may who buy election 2024, why and I'm predicting say, Oye nebe to me, breche bebo me, and so ye. Moma Ghana and funny say yanko. Kopme tamwa. One wo Yankopon based on an instra bemwa. That's it. Folks, but it's our report in the BC. And Timo more pointing sa Oppong Peprah no stop it. He has done the yeoman's job. Very, very colorful job. I'm telling you. But some men under him or within the service, almost they had their own political self-serving interest. My Yankenka message is Wegakra. I say, I have never seen any please don't sound insulting here. I've never seen any blah 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 infantile soldier like this since